Hey guys, so we are getting the players into the lobby right now. Say Ray AFK. And you get an X Kawine for the 34-month resub. It's a long time.
Yeah, we had Patent TV hit us up for 14 months as well before that. Ider for 28. I think you got Zergasm, so we should be all caught up. But in case we did miss anybody, please know that we do love and appreciate you. Today is a surprisingly large amount of subs, which I'm okay with. So thank you guys again for that support.
Yep. I got one of the players.
Yeah, Nerchio's here and ready to rock and roll. Nerchio, he made it pretty far in the Alima League recently, which was definitely surprising to me. Cool to see, though.
He did, yeah. It was very surprising to see him play. And then he actually get knocked out, too. Like, he's really good, so even across server, it's giving him a big chance for the finals. But thank you to Dark Lord of Vinric for the Twitch Prime sub.
Ooh, that's like an evil villain name right there. And not because of the Dark Lord, just like even like Lord Vinrich. Lord Vinrich.
Yeah, that's it's like the V, man. Like it's like a dangerous letter.
It's a dangerous part of the body too.
Only if it has teeth.
Well, I mean it bleeds once a month.
Not because it has teeth. I mean, what's that? I won't talk too much about that. Namshar, I guess, is going to have to be poked again on Skype.
I'll go poke him.
That guy. And yesterday's cast, so the Alima League, I waited like 30 minutes to eat my ramen noodles. They soaked up so much water. I've never waited that long to eat ramen noodles. It was really like a brand new experience for me. It was like a brand new meal. I tried to be really patient today because I wanted it. I had like a craving for it. Couldn't be as patient with Finn.
Oh.
Couldn't.
Just dived in.
I waited like 15 minutes. I thought it was like a decent amount of time, man. But nah, it was not the same. Jeez. And I probably shouldn't continue this experiment on for too long because, you know, ramen's not the best thing to have every meal. I actually went to like a Chinese place with like a bunch of the players, like Scarlet and Eve stuff. And it was super expensive. So expensive, especially compared to like Korean prices.
Well, yo, speaking of expensive, as you're speaking, I saw this thing on Twitter I clicked on. There's this Fallout crate thing. I guess it's like Loot Crate, but it's like Fallout exclusive stuff, right?
Okay.
And like, I really like Fallout stuff. But it's like one box every 2 months for $50.
Damn.
I'm not sure the stuff inside it will be good enough for that. Cool though.
Yeah.
It's partnered with Loot Crate, I guess, to do this. Man. Oh, I love Fallout stuff. I gotta close this. I'm gonna be tempted to buy it. So I waste money. This is how we run BaseTradeTV into the ground. Next month, I'm gonna be like, hey, Zombie Up, look, I gotta cut your paycheck a little bit short. And you're gonna be like, okay, but why? And I'll be like, I spent like $600 on Fallout paraphernalia. I'm sorry. I tried to write it off as a business expense, but they wouldn't let me.
Just put it in the background. Business expense.
Yeah, it's on display like behind me in the stream. So there you go. There you go. All right, well, if anyone's interested, Remar is still currently Bit Boss at 2,800 health. I know it's not displaying on stream today. But, ooh, I just dropped my fidget spinner on my nuts.
It's funny. That's the type of pain that's funny.
Fuck this thing.
Speaking of Nerchio, of fidget spinners, I saw some at a store I walked by today that actually looked really cool. Like, not cool enough that I bought one, mind you, but they looked cooler than the ones I see all the time, right? They got like, they were like,
cool ones out there for sure.
they were like spiky ones. There was like a Pokemon themed one. I was like, maybe, but then I didn't. There's like a ton of cute Pokemon stuff out here.
Like my Magikarp.
Exactly. They got the tail end of that Magikarp. The tail end.
No.
Can you have your attention, please? Can you test the alarm? You can kind of barely hear that in the background. You hear they're gonna
Yeah,
test
I'm gonna
the
mute
alarm.
myself because I guess this is gonna be going on for a few minutes. Fuck. Good luck, have fun.
Oh, okay. In the bottom right of this second semifinal, it is the Blue Zerg Namshar.
It's in Chinese. Listen, hold up, listen. It's in Chinese. This is so stupid.
Can't really hear it well enough. In the top left as the Red Zerg, it's Nerchio. And he is going for an early pull with gas, so looking to wrap things up in game number 1. Potentially quickly. We'll see if he keeps on gas past the 100 for those banelings as well. Now, Namshar so far has gone for a hatch first. Let's pay real close attention to how many drones he gets after that. He gets 2 more drones. It's probably going to be the gas as well, and then the pool. So kind of the worst build you could have as far as the timing on your Ling and queens go. So that's going to be harsh. Making those, especially making those 2 drones in between like the gas and the hatchery is just like really the farthest you can put it off. So that's harsh. But you know, Nerchio does take guys out of gas after 104. What a scrub. So he's not going to be going for banelings, just the speed here. But with the build as it is, I think he's going to get a cancel or a kill rather on this base. So that's what I'm guessing anyways, unless Namshar has some pretty baller last minute defense, but there won't be many options for his defense. That's like the real problem, you know? Like, much can be said about miss micro and perfect micro and bad decisions, but only if there's units to do that. So if there's just like no units, then it's a big deal. So we paid close attention to when the drones are going to come out. Let's pay close attention if there's going to be lings that are coming out. No, Namshar is playing about as greedy as possible. And unfortunately just barely misses these lings. How is that possible? He really missed those? He's still putting drones, so... Oh, he barely caught a glimpse of them. He barely caught a glimpse. Did he notice? I don't think he did. He's still making drones. Oh, I didn't notice. Oh, he's not even making 2 lings to even, like, go forward and scout, like, right here, man. Like, this is terrible. Namshar realizes, or maybe that's just like a safety. I don't know, like something told him. I don't think he saw anything, but maybe he saw the lings over here. That was a little weird. But the timing almost worked out if he had just continued making more and more lings. It's still so late. Emergency pulls the drones. The queen has no chance. Just tries to get a larva inject in there before she dies. That's not going to be a wall. Now with 2 queens, just with drones. And the good news is, the only good news for Namshar is that there's no banelings. So maybe he can hold the main. But if he holds the main, that'll still put him down quite a bit, as Nerchio does afford a hatchery back at home. Drones are going to go down here. Nerchio has to kill some drones, I would say. And he's killed 5, so that's some, I guess. But if he doesn't get the hatchery, and he doesn't kill more drones, this actually will be an effective hold from Namshar. I think the one weird thing about what he did is that even though his, like, actual arm units were so late, he had a lot of room to lose drones. If he saves this base, Nerchio actually won't be in as much of a lead as he probably should be. Speed is also done for Namshar, so he doesn't actually fall behind on the tech path. In fact, he's ahead with his banelings already being done. Nerchio, trying to get to those drones, might have missed the opportunity to get that hatchery. Looks like he has. And where does it put him now? He's got to start go back into his own drones. He's actually going to fall behind. 5 to 3 being produced right now. Namshar with that last minute defense, man. That was clutch stuff. Actually having a wall of any type.
It's still going off. Kill me.
What type of warning bell is that?
It's so annoying. I can't. I'm dying here.
Yeah. Every drone does certainly count at this point. If you can really start sniping off 2 or 3 at a time with these Ling run bys, and that's just golden for Nerchio, but he always has to worry about banelings flooding in. Namshar's not committing enough that queens won't be able to help. Ooh, like that. So it looks like he'll be okay. Oh, nah, see, he's still okay. But Lings are cleaned up in here, and he managed to grab 4 drones, so it puts him in a bit of a lead for now. And things have really evened up, man. Not getting enough drones, not getting the hatchery, but still, you know, having his own macro game sort of behind it. Dang. If that was a baneling all-in, by the way, like all those drones clumped up, probably it's just like really game over. Interesting game. Really quite tickled at how the high drone count, the absurdly high drone count comparison ended up working out for Namshar, who just waited about as long as possible to make units as you can in his ZvZ. Nerchio's finally getting his own Baneling nest, playing to the Ling Baneling. His third base is going to be a little bit faster, and it is going to potentially still be in his favor, this game that is. The alert's still going off in the background. Funnily enough, despite the openers, it is going to come down to this whole, like, you know, scuffle around the third base, Ling Baneling versus Ling Baneling. And then we'll see who can safely transition into either a lair or a Roachwarren, or both. They both are sending their Lings across the map, and they both have eyes on that. So the difference is that Nerchio isn't quite prepared with his Baneling, so he's got 6 morphing somewhere around here. Oh, actually, offensively, but he's got 2 more morphing somewhere else. Okay, well, we don't know. We won't know where those are. There they are. He wants to put on pressure. His base wasn't really attacked, although Namshar had enough Lings to do so. This might still be enough of a defense from Namshar as more Banelings are... Well, they were canceled, but that one ended up getting a good hit, so it's still okay. Again, oddly evening out here on the trades. And Nerchio has a lot more Lings. Flooding through here. He's canceling the Banelings. Namshar is not getting any safety Banelings somewhere else where they can't be canceled. But Nerchio, okay, I was going to say, shouldn't run back home. He should be trying to kill this third base. They both are trying to get to a Roachwarren, and they're droning. But it's actually going to kill Namshar's third, potentially. Oh, he barely has enough Lings. No Banelings for Nerchio. There they are. Just wanted him to run into him. Nice hit right there. Beautiful. Namshar has Banelings of his own now, though, so he might still be able to save this third base. He is falling behind on drones no matter what at this point in time, however, down by 8. And falling behind on that lair timing, but a bit ahead on the +1 missile. Man, he barely saved that third. Just like he barely saved that game. Jeez. Nerchio's not quite given up on such a low hatchery yet. It's, the 2 Banelings aren't too well protected. Splits, there we go, exactly. He splits a little bit, and that's going to be maybe lights out for the hatcheries. More Lings flood in. Namshar's Lings try and get on top of Nerchio's drones, but that's not going to be equal to losing an entire base. Okay, there he goes. He goes in. Target fires after getting the Queen. Banelings aren't really of much use anymore as the Roaches are out. It's going to run past the Roaches. Get a decent scout. Maybe get another Queen. Nerchio getting a lot of stuff done with these Ling floods, while safely getting to his own Roaches and own economy behind it. As I said, Namshar had that faster +1, but it just doesn't matter. He's taking too much damage. GG. Nerchio still ends up taking the game, but kudos to Namshar for that last-ditch emergency defense with the drones. Namshar, very quick. That's just me, Odyssey. Get this loaded up. Get Rifkin in there and just in case his alarm stops blaring. And this is the semifinals, guys. Best of 5 finals coming up after this. The winner is guaranteed facing Terran.
Kill me. This is so annoying.
They usually are. I was in a dorm a couple of times in my life. In my first year of college, as well as a couple of basketball camps at UVA. And I feel like whenever they had a fire alarm at that point, it always lasted forever. And it was always at the most obnoxious time, too. I guess you're kind of lucky that it's at 2 a.m. or 1 p.m. or whatever it is. Because I remember one went off at, like, 3 in the morning. It wasn't supposed to. Like, it wasn't supposed to be a test. It just went off. Having to get outside with your pajamas and your pillow is really quite annoying. Anywho. It is game number 2. In the bottom right, this guy is down a game. It is the blue Zert Namshar. In the top left has the red Zerg. It's Nerchio. Make it a let's make sounds. Just like the alarm blaring of a Rifkin. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. It's a good day today for subs. Look at my cam. What? What? Thought it was a good joke. Just give him the middle finger, guys. It's really wooed. So Nerchio opened up last game with you know, definitely a very aggressive attack. Not truly all in. It was missing those banelings, but did just barely enough damage to not win the game outright, but get him a solid macro game that he continued to get slight leads off of, and eventually took it. You know, showcasing some very like the minute details that go into the early game ZvZ and how that can really snowball. You know, it wasn't. You know, he killed a couple of drones. That was great, but Namshar was still winning. It was outpacing him in the drone count. Until he grabbed, you know, just like a handful more from a couple of lings darting in. It really helped set things in a balance, and then, like, you know, continuing on, that third base scuffle was really, really the turning point of, like, who was really taking advantage and who wasn't. But just from the very start, it was kind of a cool game. And if it's going to go into Ling Baneling versus Ling Baneling, then we'll certainly see the scuffles around the third base again. Namshar, notably, 2-3 huge Baneling hits, not in his favor, really lost him that third base. And it's a snowball effect. You know, you lose the Lings, so you don't have as many. You have to use more larvae on them. You don't have as many drones. You still end up losing the third base after all that. So that's pretty bad. And that's all what happened to Namshar, and it had a lot to do with just him miss-microing.
I'll be right back.
Okay. We have a fairly early Baneling nest, though. I mean, there's defensive Baneling nests, and then there's just, like, I'm going to be aggressive early Baneling nests. And the timing is still a little bit, I think, stylistic, to be honest. There's a point in time where you could, I think, almost easily tell which one it was if they prepared it in the main base or the natural, or if they had a spine crawler, for instance. Like, you know, it's going to be a little more defensive. But this is the main base, and it was, like, put down before the hatchery was even done. So, like, I definitely was expecting at least a handful of Lings to go with this. Obviously, by now, they've kind of figured out no one's cheesing, no one's gone for the early pool, but Nerchio is... Gotta take my words back a little bit, but he's kind of cheesing. It's just a later cheese, not an early pool. It's one of these things where you just really... You stop joining at a very early time, you bulk up the Lings, and you only show them as speed finishes, and then you have two Banelings that are hopefully going to surprise on the other side of the map. Surprisingly, he built them quite far off. I know some Zerg players are checking these corners specifically for these Banelings, because that's an easy tell if they're making Lings or not. But to be so far away was a little weird. It was a little surprising. Obviously, he just showed a bunch of Lings, but this could just be a huge swell into drones. In fact, it is a huge swell into drones, as you can see in the production tab. But a point more so was like, Namshar might not expect the Banelings. Almost got a 2-for-4 deal right there. That would have been real good for Nerchio. Doesn't quite get it, and doesn't quite get the hatchery either. Namshar's defensive Baneling nest, just in the nick of time with his Banelings too, ended up being absolutely perfect. He doesn't have the Banelings. He may have just lost the hatchery right there. Nerchio had clicked on it. He was willing to kill it for the loss of a lot of his Lings, but not quite at the instant loss to a couple of Banelings. So Namshar manages to save his hatchery, save his drones, and calmly continues producing more, getting a third base. He's getting a handful of his own Lings, as Nerchio gets his own third too, but there's not much gained or lost for either player there. There could have been a lot more. Those Banelings hit better for Namshar, instant slapdown. That's probably really bad for Nerchio. The Banelings don't hit at all or aren't made at all. Nerchio probably gets this hatchery. It was awfully low. But even drones, even army, even third base timings, even evolution chamber timings. Only really big difference so far is that layer timing. Even still, it's only like 30 seconds. Roachworn and +1 started up. They both got the evolution chambers front, so they both are starting to the Roach game. They had a very high-powered scuffle of Ling Baneling once. This is not so much a high-powered scuffle as it is just a little tap-tap. And are content with that, it looks like. Going on to the next step of ZvZ. Oh, good morning. Oh, dear God. Oh, my goodness. I don't know how the dancing went down like that, but Namshar was trying to be really careful to control his Baneling, and in doing so, missed a couple of good shots. ends up rounding out to an even trade. These lings are almost certainly meant to be banelings, but they're awkwardly sitting still out of sight. There we go. I'm morphing into the banelings. And I don't think Nerchio saw them. I mean, if there was lings for so long, he certainly should have gone on top of them. So we'll see if he's paying attention to his main base mineral line as he's continuing to flood at least a couple of lings. He sees, you know, kind of a weak hatchery. Maybe he saw there'd be an opportunity, but is he paying attention? He is. He instantly splits, and this will no longer be catastrophic damage with only one baneling available. In fact, he goes for the larva, not even that big pile up of drones. A handful of lings, though, from Namshar end up doing a decent amount of damage. 5 drones, 6 drones. Nerchio just pulled all of his lings forward. He gets a queen, but he loses 9. He loses his entire third base drone line for this. That was absolutely not worth it, and it's all because he just didn't leave his units there. He should have only lost 5. Instead, loses twice that. At 10, that's a pretty big loss. Namshar are now up about 10 workers with faster, well, I guess the timing of this one isn't so important. They're very, very close together, but technically faster, +1 in roach speed. Nerchio has sent whatever units he has across the map, but is it really going to do very much? I still don't think so. Even with a 10 army supply lead, Namshar has defender's advantage. Nerchio, not all-inning or anything like that, though. I mean, maybe he pokes and prods, but then he can leave just as easily. He's getting to a 2-1. He's going to have that upgrade lead. Distraction at the front. Ling's trying to make up for the third base losses of himself. He gets 3 drones for it. Well, those upgrade leads might just be the best thing about Nerchio's game here, as things are evened once again. I was going to say, what is the next step here as things have calmed down? No one's going for a non-layer all-in or anything like that. So is it going to be Tunneling Claws, Hydralisk Den, or option C that is not really used anymore, but an Infestation Pit? Hydralisk Den for Namshar. The longer one stays on just roaches, the more probable it's going to be Tunneling Claws, of course. That's kind of what I'm feeling for Nerchio. Not yet. 4th base taking out the gold. He knows Namshar also wants the gold, so these lings and roaches are going to be darting back in and out. Namshar starts up his own +1 Carapace, but a little bit later, like, 60 seconds could be a big deal. Hydras could be a big deal, but we have seen historically whenever these do happen to appear, because I feel like Tunneling Claws is more popular, but when Roach Hydra versus Roach Ravager, the Roach Ravager seems to win out more often. They end up having a bigger bank, a bigger remax, usually a faster maxed out army that's attacking. Maybe better upgrades, maybe not, but the Corrosive Bile Ravager number aspect wins out over the Hydralisk DPS. But that's, anecdotal. That's just a couple of games here and there. It's obviously not the truth, the always what's going to happen. Otherwise, no one would actually go for Hydralisk Den. Still think it's rare, but it's not never seen. And Namshar will probably get maxed out with it too. Lots of roach movement around the map. Nerchio has his 4th base not just down, but also mining already. Namshar's waiting a little bit, and he might just get canceled again. Some nice roach maneuvers. Nerchio is moving forward with the rest of his army. He might just get the concave. This could be bad news for Namshar. He doesn't really have his Hydras. They're being produced right now, and he's lost the concave. He's lost his 4th base. That might have been a cancel. It was a cancel. But he's lost the concave here. I think it's a little more important. He's also still behind on +1. 5 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, he has it now, but he's already taken a couple of losses. His Hydras try and join forces, but anything rallying from the main and natural are going to be caught alone and defenseless, and the Hydras are terrible in that position. Drones are also going down off to the right side, and Namshar looks like he's just taking too bad of a fight. Even if the fight was going okay for him, he just lost his natural. He had to cancel a 4th base, and that might have been too much anyways. He manages to push Nerchio back temporarily. And Nerchio, with the faster, quicker, easier remax without those Hydras to account for, also fits in Burrow and Tunneling Claws to advance his tech. Maybe we'll see an upgrade later too, but a 2-1, both of them are pretty content with that. Namshar down almost 40 army supply here. Lost all those Hydras too. He's got 1 Hydra. 1. But it's a very inferior army. 48 roaches to 28. That is a pretty big difference. And while some corrosive biles are hitting for Namshar, can they really make up for that supply? They're doing a decent job of it. Very quickly turn the tides as Nerchio just makes 15 more roaches. Army supply goes back in his favor, but Namshar holding on, despite lacking 2 bases that Nerchio has had for a while. Check the income graph. Yeah, big spikes right there. Namshar, though, I'm not sure how good it's going to be to push forward. Manages to catch quite a few overlords. Not too shabby. Namshar getting much better corrosive biles. And now Nerchio has the Tunneling Claws, and his harassment and multi-pronged attacks have been very effective so far, so I can only imagine they're going to get better with these options available. That 4th base finishes, but only as the army of Nerchio moves towards to kill it. And Namshar cannot afford to make another 4th base elsewhere. He needs this gold. He's going to lose the hatchery potentially. He might even lose a couple of drones here. Namshar tries to respond. But he's got a lot of weak units here. They get pounced upon. They will go down very quickly. Hydras and Ravagers. That's exactly what happens. They are pounced upon. Units rallying in from Nerchio to the south side are going to be able to just kind of sandwich in too. And Namshar looks like he's going to be taken out by Nerchio. Certainly a very good Zerg, ZvZ European player. That is the jam of the Europeans, and Nerchio's always been very good at it. Has to burrow his roaches, but he has the opportunity. There's no Overseer. No Spore Crawlers either. Nothing to take care of this. Playing a little bit of the shark attack game, I suppose. Namshar absolutely dead at this point. GG, well played. Nerchio will take the 2-0. Move on to the grand finals.
I'm like pretty sure the alarm stopped, but I keep hearing it in my ears, so I don't actually know.
I don't hear it, so I think you're good.
So, like, I don't know how loud it was coming across on the mic, but it was so fucking loud. And it's like, I get it, that's the point of a fire alarm, but...
Not as loud as it was the first time.
Well, normally, they put stuff warning us, right? Like, it'll be up in the elevator, in the lobby, on the slide, you think, like, hey, on such and such date, at such and such time, we'll be doing, like, an emergency alarm test of the fire alarm and stuff like that. And we've kind of been able to schedule things around that and not have problems with it. This is really, I'm actually really annoyed that I just missed an entire series because of my building's shitty alarm.
Building has problems, man.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it stays off for the finals because I don't want to miss that, because that's what's coming up next.
Indeed. That should be happening very soon after this 2-minute break. Best of 5 starting off on Mech Depot.
Let's get it on.